All right, everyone. I believe we are live. Let me know if we are. Today, I have this special guest star, Fancy, from Georgia.
Morning, everyone.
I brought him along because I figured he would be an expert on this sort of, well, especially there's going to be a lot of Cold War era tech on this, and I am brain dead and I'm going to lose hundreds of men in this mission. Definitely for sure. And before we even start, I want to share, like, let's see, this is image show. This is like the developer, and I believe their studio's name is Cats Who Play. And as you can see here, their repertoire is very interesting. And before this, they made Cat's Portfolios Adventure, a little cute cat game, and then Syrian Warfare. And then in the middle of making 2 DLC expansion packs for Syrian Warfare, they also came out with Kitty Play, which is a return to form for them. And this diverse portfolio fills me with a lot of hope. I've played a bit of this game already, Syrian Warfare, but I'm no good at it pretty much at all. And not a lot of people have shown it. It's from this one good review channel, because of course this is a very sensitive topic, rightfully so. I imagine, God help everyone involved in this conflict. But here we are. We're gonna play it. We're gonna try to handle this as respectfully as I can, which I know I won't. Here we go. So, let's see. The comments or the chat box is Alright, so this game is actually working. Apparently these developers also made Warfare, a game about the United States Marine Corps saving the Saudi monarchy. Fascinating. Alright, so we'll start a new game. We're gonna do this on easy because I agree with this, where normal difficulty is too tough for me.
Who would have thought it would all turn out like this? It seemed like everything was so far from us. Civil disturbances, people with guns under a black banner. We thought it was somewhere far away, on the other side of the TV screen. Our village seemed too small to be affected by this. After all, what kind of conflict could you have with a shoemaker from the edge of town that you went to school with? Or with the baker's children from the neighboring street that played soccer with your children in the evenings? We were so naive then.
That was like the original Syrian flag that the rebellion co-opted.
We had used all my accumulated vacation time and taken a long trip. Our second honeymoon, as my wife called it. We'd just come home. It was the last night I could sit at home just watching TV.
Anwar, dear, come to bed.
Yes, of course. I just wanted to get caught up to speed. It's been...
Oh, sorry, I think I accidentally muted the game. There we go, okay.
So what's new?
I'm running this game in windowed mode because,
I've already turned it off.
well, it's just how games go nowadays, with especially the ones that kind of come from a bit more of an indie studio background. Oh, there we go. That they handled the respectful message for us.
It says against terror.
Oh yeah, this is a Russian developed studio, so that's the point of view we're going with. Yeah, everyone let me know too if Fancy's audio is coming in through. I had to set a bit of a gain on his microphone.
Cheap Logitech, but that's all I got.
Anwar, I'm happy to hear from you. Are you already on your way to work?
Yes, Captain. First day back on the job.
Well, hurry. A lot has happened in the month you were gone. When you get here, we'll take a service vehicle and check.
Alright, so to start out with, we start off with this little police officer character.
Okay, Wazir, I'm coming.
He's not too well armed. I'm not sure even which specific kind of station wagon model that is, but it's not equipped for combat. Alright, where is the police station? There we go.
The Arab Spring was just kind of crazy when it was happening.
It was pretty insane. Like, I remember there was this extreme outpouring of just hope, speaking from being in the West. And that hope was almost immediately dash after. What was the quote-unquote successful revolution? Was that in Tunisia? Which, if I recall correctly, nowadays that didn't even end up that well.
I think so, because then it spread to like Libya, and then it spread to Oman. I think it's just popping up everywhere.
Yeah, it went a bit crazy. Developers were also working on a Terminator game, also in the real-time tactics genre.
How was your vacation?
We went to visit my
Well, I hope that... I remember seeing a meme where it was along the lines of showing their portfolio just like I did, and it's like you gotta make the tactics games to do your real true passion of kitty management games.
Yeah, I saw. What does Wahid want?
Tactical Kitty RTS.
Maybe he wants to talk about that. We'll find out soon enough. Stop here and wait for me. I'll have my radio on just in case, so you'll hear everything that goes down. No, wait here.
I would like to see these character portraits reused one day for a dating sim of some kind.
And what? Where are you? Elias, is that you? What, did you miss me? I took the chief to meet someone on the outskirts of town. I'm still there, waiting. Put it back on the job, eh? Come back soon. We're about to have tea. Oh, are you on duty today? Great. I think the chief will be finished soon, and we'll head back. Keep the kettle hot.
The only other kind of thing I've seen in this, not even specifically this era, but this kind of tone, I guess, would probably be Waltz with Bashir, if you ever seen that one. It's the Israeli movie about the intervention in the Lebanese Civil War, if I remember correctly.
They'll be yours too.
What are you talking about?
That sounds kind of familiar. Is that the one about the tank, or is that a different one?
It's got a few connecting storylines, and it's interesting because it's critical of the Israeli intervention from an Israeli perspective, which is not something you would really expect, especially in a feature-length production.
The government is falling. I'm offering you the chance to join the winning side.
As you can see here, Wahid is a bit of a realpolitik man, a pragmatist, through and through.
Christians in your town, but that's just for show. It won't be significant, and they'll make you the leader. What do you say?
You were easily caught. You still can't forgive the higher-ups for not making you a colonel and sending you to Damascus, can you? And now here's your chance to get revenge, eh, Wahid? You won't be working in my town, not while I and my men are around.
Don't be so naive, Wazir. You said yourself, while I'm around. What do you think these men are here for?
Yeah, that's a basic gist.
All this talk. Either he gives the command for his men to lay down their arms, or
Anwar, did you get all that? Get back to the station and sound the distress call. Get ready for an attack.
Elias, they killed the boss. Those
And it pretty much just starts with you in charge of a little police militia defending this little town.
I only heard the conversation.
Now, whenever I play this mission, I lose half the police force of this local municipality, but I've learned some tricks. One thing I heard was just barricading the entrances to the village with any cars that I can find.
Try to go find them and bring them back into the city.
Let's see.
Hold out until then. Yes.
Yes, specifically the concrete mixers are great barricades, I've learned.
Hello, Karim.
Yes. Do you know what time it is?
Unless they can't get in them. Okay, well, I've learned for some reason they won't get into concrete mixers. I guess they don't have the required heavy machinery license.
Some dogs attacked this city.
Syrian should be all over their case.
And we're defending the
The only walkthrough I could see for this game was like written half in like broken English and the other half in Russian, and it also says this is complete mission walkthrough to all like 30 of game's missions, and then it ends at mission 1's walkthrough. He never finished the guide. Let's see, how do I throw a grenade? I can throw smokes, but that doesn't really come in handy.
I don't know, but there are a lot of them.
I mean, it does come in handy, but not on the defense in this case.
An RPG buried in your yard from the war with Israel?
What kind of Arab would I be if I didn't have an RPG in my yard? I especially like the idea of how he explains it even there. He's not coming by himself with the RPG. He's bringing all of his sons, no matter where they are. Which Fancy has a lot of knowledge and also even personal connections to the Civil War in America. He has a lot of ancestors involved in that. Were there a lot of like father-sons kind of regiments? I mean, maybe not regiments specifically, but that connection within the same unit.
One of my great-great-great-grandfathers was in the regular army in the South, and then his dad was kind of like in the citizen militia. He's like in his 50s. And they were kind of sent to bolster Atlanta when old Billy Sherman was doing his thing. So yeah, like things like this, like what happens in Syria and around the world, where you have like kind of internal conflicts, kind of, you know, resonates, since my family kind of went through that too.
Especially the sort of like people have this image of even the American Civil War as being mostly these very organized battles with numbers of soldiers in the tens of thousands. But as that movie showed, directed by that Taiwanese American guy, Ang Lee, what was it? Ride with the Devil, yeah. There was a lot of like, oh, it was so good. There's so many very depressing and terrifying low to mid-level guerrilla sort of campaigns being waged. As Ride with the Devil shows, with almost like, maybe I wouldn't use the word random, but almost indiscriminate massacre of just random villages by both sides.
The Outlaw Josie Wells kind of got into that too. That's another good movie.
Imagine having enough sons that you could feel the whole regiment.
God willing.
All right, that truck. Okay, no, this went awfully. These poor police officers. Okay, no one's died yet, actually. A concrete mixer didn't do much to stop a squad, but later on they're gonna start deploying suicide bomb cars in here. Or a kamikaze in the traditional Japanese lingo of the region.
Well, there was that one, I think, Japanese photojournalist that kind of got mixed up in all this.
The one that got executed by ISIS, right?
Yeah, like the Japanese started making memes about it. Like
the Japanese made memes about it? No, I don't believe that. Really?
Yeah.
That's fucking awful.
Like, oh no, like they were, you know, in support of the guy, but ISIS, like, you don't scare us. We're like halfway around the world an ocean away.
I see. I thought it was like edgy beams, like making fun of their own photojournalists getting executed. I was like, oh my god, that's awful.
I think it's been like ISIS Chan popped up or something.
I assumed ISIS Chan was an American cultural phenomenon, but it would also make sense if the Japanese kicked it off. It's hard to tell what starts over in the land, the rising sun, what starts over in America. Like Wikipedia Chan, I don't think she's used anymore, but
well, I think. Was it the Taliban or was it ISIS where someone asked them, like, do you watch anime? And they're like, oh yes, we like Attack the Titan or something.
Oh, it was the this guy got hit up by like an ISIS recruiter at the time, and then he says, inshallah brother, we love Naruto here. Something like that.
I think like Bin Laden had probably like some kind of fan dubs or something.
Bin Laden had literal like dating sims on like the PC-98, so like a lot of 80s and 90s ones. But which, what was it? Like his nephews or his grandsons were using the computer as well. But that also brings up even more entertaining, I guess, scenarios in one's head about daily life in the household, the compound.
And people talk about the militarization of American police, but they're not running around with freaking Dragunovs and RPGs.
Yeah. The most I've seen, I guess, lately of that. Did I just drag out 2 snipers? No, I don't want that. I want an actual squad. Here we go. Yeah, the most I've seen of that is like LRAD? APCs or whatever, where they were like pushing these like sound disruption devices or whatever it was.
I know one of the Atlanta counties, they have like in Vietnam era M113, they used to run down meth buildings. Like Doraville police, I think.
Let's see. Alright, so snipers, I've learned, are probably the best to take care of this stuff from a distance. No, they're getting shot at, so maybe not.
You ever seen that footage of the guy puts like a mannequin on a shovel and he's like dancing it around a corner?
Yes, I have seen that one where he's like, and they spend like the next like 10 minutes just laughing and goofing. I think one of them even shouted the sniper that they were awful shot or just had terrible eyes or something.
From outside. I think the people are storming the mosque themselves. They'll just get butchered. We have to help them.
I was expecting a real life stream. Yeah, I probably should have named the title of this video better now I think about it. Because Syrian Warfare is kind of a... at least Syrian Warfare RTS or something.
Help us.
Alright, at this point, yeah, like, some armed civilians are storming the mosque to liberate it. And, you ideally, as a human being with empathy, should help them before they get to that point, but the point system of this game does not reward me going ahead of them, so I'm gonna let them march forward a bit, Stalingrad style. Let's see, I'll throw a few smokes, that'll help them out. Is there much warfare even going on in Syria these days? I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. I haven't read up on it in a while. Okay, well, Fancy, yeah, you could take the lead on this.
It's kind of reached a stalemate, and that earthquake hasn't helped anything. Up in the north by Turkey, I think it's like Idlib, however you say it, is still kind of in like rebel hands. And then you have a weird kind of quasi-truce they made with the Kurds, where they're more autonomous, but they're not actively attacking the Assad forces. It's all just kind of like ground down.
It is. Yeah, I remember that was like a thing about the. Just because of the mess of the war and the coordination, the Syrian earthquake, or the earthquake that hit Turkey and Syria, hit Syria extra hard, especially now with any attempts for disaster recovery.
You also have the sanctions, which made it hard to get like humanitarian aid out there.
Mm-hmm. Making an RTS and an ongoing war as well. Yeah, it really is. That the Russians are masters of timing, though, so to speak, with this kind of stuff. Like even the though I believe that was a Ukrainian-developed game, Stalker, being made only like what, 10 to 20 years after the Chernobyl explosion. That's pretty soon for comfort. But it all depends on the medium. Like, what was it? Fancy just recommended me, and I've been reading the first chapter of it so far, Red Storm Rising by Tom Clancy. And I saw like the game of it that was developed. It was on like, it's got like super, like 1980s level Atari graphics, but the music is very threatening of the theme song for the Soviet invasion, and it's hard to remember the context that this was made, that yes, during the 1980s there was still this ever-present fear that there was this monolithic rival superpower that was more than willing, or capable at least, of nuking us. And I wonder what the context for that was back then, if people felt that was in poor taste, or not in poor taste.
I think like Red Dawn was super popular with the Americans.
Yeah, Hunt for Red October.
Good movie. Like pure Reagan propaganda, but it was still a great movie.
That was the one with the high school kids like resisting a Soviet invasion. That one is really interesting from like even just like a production or behind the scenes standpoint. Because if I recall correctly, there was a fight between the producer or the director who had like very conflicting views on how they wanted to portray the tone of a story of this foreign occupation of American soil. One wanted like a full-on kind of very cheesy 80s action movie that was maybe not lighthearted would be the word, but definitely a sort of adventurer tone. And the other one wanted a very gritty kind of depressing story about the reality of a guerrilla conflict. So you see a lot of these scenes that are almost 180 tone shifts or whiplash emotionally. But I think it works because at the end of the day, I've never been in a war or a guerrilla conflict, but that there does seem to be that kind of 0 to 100 intensity moments described frequently in the accounts of people who were involved in them.
That shows too that like the high school guys are hiding out in the woods, but their loved ones have to kind of deal with the consequences of their actions. Like when you see the internment camp and the random firing squads. I thought it was interesting too. I just watched the trailer for it, doing some research on a different project, and there were scenes that took place in a McDonald's, and there's like production stills of in front of a McDonald's. So that was going to be in the movie that like these Soviet paratroopers are like, "Oh, we go get a Big Mac." And then, like, right before the movie came out, there was some like mass shooting event at a McDonald's, so they like took it out of the movie to be a little more respectful. But yeah, like in the trailer before, I guess they decided to do that, you see like this Russian APC like pull up in the parking lot, and people like sitting inside eating.
But the last kind of thing I heard about that was what was it? In Lilo and Stitch, they like removed some of the scenes where they fly between the towers and the alien ship chase at the end because 9/11 happened like during the film's production.
I remember seeing that in theaters way back in the day.
I'm supposed to be summoning this reinforcements using the radio, but there's something I'm doing wrong here for sure because I'm not getting the check mark. I'm not getting the Twitter blue check mark verified message. Vanguard is the forces you would deploy during the forces. Oh, I remember what it is now. Yes. This is just like grabbing stuff, and then to actually deploy them, I put them here. Ah. Spreadsheet mastery. Sure, I'll deploy everyone, why not?
This is Sergeant Sharaf Mohammed Dean. We have arrived. Great. Take up your positions and prepare to...
Anyone want a Red Dawn remake, but it's the USA, quote-unquote, liberating Russia role reversal? That was pretty much, No, that wasn't Modern Warfare. I think Modern Warfare had some missions, like, in Russia, though, but it was, like, something about some ultra-nationalists versus the regime that was propped up by America there. I forget almost everything about the setting of Modern Warfare.
The only Ace Combat game to take place on our Earth had something like that.
There was an Ace Combat that takes place on our planet, not Stranger
Yeah, it's called Assault Horizon, and it was basically Call of Duty with planes. It was kind of panned by the Ace Combat community. It was kind of like, yeah. I mean, it was cool because we got to fly helicopters for the first time, which was pretty neat. But then they had like the AC-130 mission from COD. And then it's like by the numbers. Oh, look, we have a Russian squad with us doing this international peacekeeping mission. I hope nothing bad happens. Oh, no, why is my targeting radar going off? Ah. It was very kind of lame. And they even stole the name from Call of Duty. Like, the bad guy's name was Makarov again. I'm like, really? There's more Russian surnames than Makarov.
If I remember, Makarov is probably just picked because of the its association with the pistol. Oh no, I'm trying to grab this technical, but they just got here. Who's still here? When did these guys get here? Oh, I left it. I was driving that truck somewhere. I forgot there was a squad there. Now they're fleeing from its burning wreckage. This is yet another visual example to add to any confirmation about why I would make a terrible commander.
The idea of leadership and responsibility like that is really terrifying.
Some idiot is speeding toward us in a car. It's
Oh, here we go.
The car's packed full of explosives. Shoot him now before he blows us all to smithereens.
Okay, okay. Let's see. If I select this, does that shoot? Yes! You can see they have not mastered the turning around. Holy shit.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was bigger than I remember. Yeah, this is the reason why I lose half my team. Okay, it's gonna happen, isn't it? Okay, yep, they're all dead. Yep, that's half forces lost. Just like before. Someone asked before why I don't deploy everyone for this mission. That's why. Hero gets everyone killed, asked to leave Syria.
I can't remember, was it Clausewitz? It was somebody who's like, always keep some in reserve. Like, never commit all your forces.
The writer for Assault Horizon actually really wanted to make a Strange Real game, if I recall correctly. Ah, that is fascinating. It's always so weird how sometimes you can't tell when like someone's being held back in a certain way or not. I was reading about I haven't started Gundam yet, but I downloaded the movie trilogy because that's like the trend right now, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that sounds interesting, a little military war thing or whatever. I'm not really into mechs myself, but I guess I am interested in the idea of just this long war story. But what was I saying? Oh, the producer, when he was making the original anime, he wanted something like kind of like what I just described, this very mature kind of storyline, but he was instead forced to make a Monster of the Week kind of formula. And when he made the movies, about I think like a year or two later, they're all just like recuts of the original anime pretty much. There's like very little new animation added. And so there's this kind of war in the fandom I learned about if what he cut out was worthwhile, or if you shouldn't have cut it out. What's the true way to experience it? But if I recall, I believe the director was more pleased with the film recuts that he did.
I tried watching them in a story chronological order, so I started with, I think, even like 2015. That's kind of like where Char came from. And the animation was more modern, and then I went to go try to watch the 70s, and it's a little jarring.
What was
Somebody I used to work with was huge into Gundam, and he encouraged me to watch it.
The game pointed out something to me, but I already lost it. Oh, here we go. Fuel truck. Oh, the fuel truck I drove out there and damaged. I wasn't supposed to do that. Well, that was very silly of me. Yeah, I have to get the fuel truck to refill this guy who came to reinforce us, but he ran out of fuel on the way. But thankfully, it's still active. What is this? A BMP-1. Do you happen to have any cool trivia on this little model right here?
It looks like it's been re-gunned, because I think the original BMP had a like a mini cannon on it, like tank style. BMP-3, I think, had the autocannon. But in the Middle East, they just like play Lego with all the Soviet equipment.
Lego's a good way to put it.
Yeah, my real good friend's dad was in Desert Storm. He was telling me, he's like, yeah, we'd see BMPs with American 50 cals and like British radios and French this on it. And he's like, they just used whatever they had.
BMP-1 has the 73mm low pressure gun. BM-2 has an autocannon. Huh.
Yeah.
BMP-3 has a 100mm gun and an autocannon coax.
There's also like the airborne APC that's really cool.
It might be a good move to mine the road from your checkpoint.
Can't remember the designation right off the top of my head, but
They attacked you in that way.
I guess it's like Russia's version of the aluminum skinned M113, where it's like, yeah, it's light enough to transport by plane. Just don't get shot in it. It also has that little anti-tank missile they put on top of the cannon.
Is this thing refueled? Yes, this thing's refueled. Alright, where should I put this? Not somewhere where it's gonna get hit by a suicide bomber. This can also be driven back. Somewhere safer. That's a police station holding up. I mean, there's not really much I can do here. I just tell them to stay put and not have a repeat of what happened here happen again. Where is it? Stuck in traffic. Perfect. Yeah, I guess I'll bring it over to help out here. At least I don't think the enemy deploys with RPGs in this mission, so I should be okay.
Have you ever seen the movie that had Carrie Ewells in it and I think Kelsey Grammer, and it was about the development of the Bradley?
Development of what?
The Bradley fighting vehicle.
Oh no, I haven't seen that one.
It's a little like is biased, the guy that wrote it, but it's really messed up the development of that vehicle. They kind of wanted to be a jack of all trades, but it really wasn't. It's supposed to transport like originally like 13 men into the battlefield. By the time they put all the guns and ammo and everything on it, it's like, well, we can carry about 4. Because they wanted to be a recon vehicle and each tank vehicle. That is just crazy. And then the original armor on it was really kind of shoddy, but when the Israelis showed interest, like, oh, well, we'll give y'all extra armor. That really made Congress like unhappy.
Why did they get out of the BMP? Please get back in it. Please continue shooting your targets.
Kind of wanted to copy it, but BMP is pretty low profile. The Bradley's pretty tall.
Well, sounds like then for the Bradley, they should have been an expert like me and watched Ford versus Ferrari, where they, what was the quote from it? You can't win a race by committee. With all due respect, Mr. Ford.
Death by committee is the usual cause of awesome ideas getting really butchered.
Sakal has been watching too many American films.
The army checkpoints are gone. Don't let the sacrifices your people have made be in vain. Give the order to lay down arms. Never. Then you'll meet the same fate.
Never.
It seems like he trained his people to be as dumb as he was. A new power is coming to Syria, and I'm going to be given a high post for joining the right side early. How can you choose to die in this hole over money and power? I won't forget you, Lieutenant.
You killed my captain, you scum! I'll find you and I'll put you down like the dog you are. And no money and no power will help you then.
When the new government comes in, we'll slit your and your family's throats. You understand, the whole world is on our side? We've unlimited access to weapons.
Already, yeah. I put my tentacle in there for a second. It's like engine damage. Crew crippled. Everyone dead.
The captain taught me to live an upright life. If I have to, I will die, but I will do it with honor and dignity. I have nothing more to say to you, you dirty dog.
That is accurate, I believe, to Arabic insults. A lot of comparisons to dogs.
I think dogs are like considered unclean.
There have been like, it's such like, is the word like dichotomy? I don't know, for like something that's like so opposite on the ends. Their treatment of like dogs and like just even like these horrible like leaked videos or whatever, just the abuse of random strays in the street, compared like or contrasted with like their veneration of the cat, how they roam the streets so casually and everyone loves them and treats them so well. And yeah, it's fascinating to see like such 100% level empathy towards one animal, but almost complete like a neutral tone to, yeah, like you said, like an almost like complete animosity towards the dogs.
Like even in the Bible, it's considered like insulting because I think what was it when Jezebel was told like the dogs will pick your bones clean? Like that was like a super low cut.
Mm. Oh, they have BMPs. Oh, that's not good. All right, well, let me bring this one back around then. I really don't want to lose the one I have. All right, let's see. Would this be a good tactical spot? Right in the center of this road here? Or should I put it between the mosque and the building?
You might want to have like some kind of corner to peek around.
Okay, no, that's the worst direction you could have taken. I wanted you to go be through the wall behind the building. Please hurry before you're shot in the back.
You got that infantry support because if we learned anything from Grozny, it's that anything tracked needs infantry around it.
Majid Hodja, sir, I have bad news. We're running out of time. We can't hold the city much longer.
What are you saying?
You and your people should leave immediately. Those fanatics will spare no one. Call the elders and have them warn the others. Take the things you cannot do without and flee the city. We'll try to hold them off as long as we can.
Very well, Anwar. It's all in Allah's hands now. Be strong. I'm organizing the evacuation. Those with vehicles will leave on their own.
The one thing this game doesn't have a lot of that I know is there's a lot less artillery, which I believe in pretty much almost every war since, gosh, the Napoleonic Wars is probably the main force of killing.
That's when I think they developed what was it, the Hell Cannon. There's like shooting propane tanks. And then they stole that like pirate looking cannon out of a museum and put it on the back.
Yes,
of the
I remember that. Back at it again with the 1700 ship of the line equipment. Oh, it's out of heat rounds. Okay, well, there's not much I can do about that. I don't have a resupply truck in this mission. Only a fueling truck. The captain sold the heat rounds 2 years ago and pocketed the money. That's... Oh shit. Okay, please shoot that. Please shoot that. Please shoot that. Please. Oh, it's too late. It's too late. Can we leave? Can we leave? Alright, just one sniper loss. That's not too big a deal. Oh, that thing is exposed. Please drive that back. Driver down. Okay, no driver. Please don't loot this thing. It's loss. That's perfect. That's amazing. So, this game, there's no base building. You carry over everything you find in the loot. So, that BMP is gone permanently now. That's fantastic.
Uh-oh, another suicide truck. Wonder if you can get a secondary off of a suicide car on that BMP.
Potentially. If we can, like... Let's see. No, I don't think we're going to be able to kill the crew of that. If you hit something from the front and get the engine on fire, it can set the vehicle on fire, and after that, the crew runs out, and then you can, like, steal it, but... It might be a bit unlikely right now. This is probably the only game I've seen where it actually makes, like, suicide cars and trucks the impact that they really did have in real life, or still continue to do so. Just entire, like, blocks leveled.
Still got rocket troops, don't you?
Yeah, got a few RPGs. Should be able to take that thing out in a more of attrition. Do I have one here? One surviving member of an RPG squad this end. Sure, why not? A nagging wife is calling Anwar in the middle of Syrian Warfare. Trademark.
You can carry and make a run for the bus. It's in front of Aunt Medina's house. Quiet, woman. Do as I say.
Jeez. I mean, Syria under Assad was pretty westernized, but not like 100%.
The whole Ba'athist movement in general, or even the movements that aren't even attached to Ba'athism, but came around the same time in the Arab region during the Cold War, are very underrated, or at least the knowledge of them. People kind of just think of the Middle East even now as this static kind of location, but they had a very turbulent time for their culture in terms of how it was developing naturally or artificially, or through policy, or just through smuggled Western media and such.
Yeah, the European decolonization led to like a lot of mix-ups, and you had competing influences between the West and the Soviets, and all that fun geopolitical, realpolitik, who's my friend, who's my enemy today kind of stuff. We supported Saddam against Ayatollah, and then we took out Saddam.
Oh no, not the fuel tanker. Whatever you do, don't kill this crew. I had never seen this thing explode, but I assume it explodes if they do enough damage to this thing.
Oh, hey, you got a friendly.
Is it a friendly or just some guy like caught up in the rush hour traffic? Oh yeah, it's civilians. That was just they picked a very bad time to drive through downtown.
It's like seeing all those dash cam footage of when Russia invaded Ukraine. People just going about work, and then they look over and you see like all these tanks and stuff.
Let's see. Oh yeah, but the idea of like corrupt captains selling equipment. Almost anything I was reading about the Chinese Civil War, especially in the nationalist warlord side, is like depressing. Just how much corruption was ongoing. On top of just like the press gangs roaming through the countryside, drafting like these poor farmers and stuff for meat grinder tactics, essentially, which is suicide waves.
For all of his faults, Mao really cracked down on that in the Red Army. He's like, we're gonna like help the peasants. We're not gonna hurt them.
Exactly.
That's why a lot of the peasantry fell in with him, because he enforced that.
It is so bizarre how terrifying of a leader he was after the war was won, compared to like how, for the most part, at least in terms of like PR for sure, of the, like the Chinese people themselves, the night and day difference basically.
Gather everyone.
Oh hey, there we go, victory. We only lost one extremely crucial piece of equipment. Let's see. Alright, so this is the, it looks like a mission selection screen, but they're tricking you. This is actually a very linear thing where you go from mission to mission. But here you'll notice we have social media. Here we go. What do we got? See anything interesting here? Assad is killed by Annie, March 27th. Dead Assad, freedom victory, hashtag. You got Fred Nuki coming in here. Annie, that's wonderful news. That means freedom is victorious, trademark. Let's see. Forgive me, I'm leaving Syria. I'm going to Germany via Turkey. I'll leave for Belgium.
Belgium.
Yeah, here we go. You got Noor coming in. If all those who flee took up arms instead and stood up against our enemies, war would end ages ago. Fine, run away. This is my homeland. I'm not abandoning it. Think about Russia. Anatoly, you as always hit the bullseye. Good point. It is a shame to live in such a country. Hey Hero, it's Kaiser. You ever play World in Conflict? I think I do want to play World in Conflict sometime. A lot of people have been recommending it to me. Voluntary cannibalism during the Cultural Revolution is the most insane things I ever had the pleasure of reading about. It is terrifying, because like, as I said to the wife even, like I don't like the idea that there's just like cannibalism in my genetic line somewhere along. Like no matter how far along you go. You read about it in Three Kingdoms, you read about it in like the Cultural Revolution, and now you got this Hong Kong shit. I don't understand the point of it. I don't understand why it pops up. I really dislike it as a phenomenon. I know that's a controversial take coming from the year 2023, but I disagree with cannibalism. I'm gonna come out and say it.
You got a Toyota Hilux.
Yeah. All right, here we go. We got
BTRs.
so BTRs are good. I should take that one.
Yeah, it's a good little wheel tracked APC kind of thing.
All right. Let's see. What can I give up here? I guess I got a bit too many police squads right now. Let's see. Snipers are pretty good. RPGs are always good. Honestly, yeah, compared to the general infantry, it's better to have the specialized ones if I remember anything about this game. Let's see, do I need a transport? Not really. Now, something the game does recommend, rightfully, is any sort of like vehicle crews. You want to take them along.
What does that BRDM have?
Let's see.
Okay, it's got a heavy MG on it.
In the 60s, this was a breakthrough in recon vehicle technology. However, it was considered hopelessly obsolete by the time the fighting in Syria started. Yeah, I'll take it. I got the money. Why not? Let's see. Yeah, I want to take at least one vehicle crew to like take any tanks that are disabled for any reason whatsoever. Let's see. Yeah, that's everything I need. Alright, so I'm allowed to deploy 4 squads and 1 car at the beginning. Okay, so I can't even deploy this thing yet. That's fine, sure, why not? I'll take the machine gun. Take a bunch of RPG squads, snipers. Perfect. Let's see, anything in the chat? BRDM could be considered like an up-armored Humvee.
Yeah, scout cars, I guess they've kind of served their purpose with modern man-poor blank tank weapons, but they were a neat, like, concept.
Awaiting instructions, over.
Falcon 4, this is Haji 2. Begin patrolling the streets at once. Establish control at the intersection. There have been attacks on civilians using that road. Be careful, Lieutenant. The bandits are heading for the shore, and some other arch gangs with support from the Turks.
Yeah, Turkey shouldn't put its oar in this water.
I love how he
can't
enunciated it. The Turks.
You'd have thought that Erdogan was Erdogan in charge when it first kicked off, or did he come later? But whoever was in charge of Turkey, you thought they would have linked up with Assad to, you know, maybe stop the Kurds from getting independence, because you know how that goes. But it seems like they were trying to do their own little mission. I don't know if it was on behest of NATO or what it was. But they were just making a mess of things in the north.
Let's see. Okay, so now this is like kind of a proper mission instead of a defense one. I can use my basic modern military tactics of using snipers to scout ahead for observation. All right, we see that. And then, let's see, should I lead him with the infantry or the machine gun thing? Let's see. I guess I'll lead him with the infantry first. More targets means more time. There's still a lot of traffic coming through on this road. This is difficult to coordinate a war around. They have an automatic grenade launcher? Jesus. Alright, we'll just rush in then.
You've seen the footage of those automatic grenade launchers in Ukraine being used as like makeshift mortars?
I have not seen that. What, just like pointing it straight up into the air?
Pretty much. It's nuts.
Let's see if I remember right. There's something here. Ah, yes. A hidden technical. What is an ATGM?
Anti-tank guided missile.
Ah, thank you. Makes
Probably
sense.
like wired, like the toe.
Pathfinding is very strange to get into this thing.
Hey, look, the keys are still in the ignition.
Too bad there's only one rocket left. They picked out a good spot here. You can see the whole road clear as day. The only thing you can't see.
But yeah, I'll keep this for when the tank shows up later in the mission. I think several tanks actually. Put one sniper there. Take a sniper there. Let's see. Yeah, this crew of 3 should probably be fine. Handle this on themselves. Take the grenade launcher, I guess. I wanted to, but with specialized infantry, I could not pick it up. So next time I will take a police squad in. Let's see. I don't know about you, but I leave my Centurion Mark 10 parked outside every day. It's in a comfy little spot. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So I don't see any enemies here. Guess we'll just drive in.
Great tank. I think the Israelis still have it in some capacity.
That's the British one, right?
Yeah, and it's an actual, like, very last weeks of the war design that went all the way through the 80s.
Where is the enemy? Oh, there we go.
Survive a nuclear explosion.
The Centurion can survive a nuclear explosion.
Like, I heard the atomic tank of Australia.
This is Falcon 4. Come in.
I read you, Falcon.
The situation is far
The
worse.
British government tested nukes out in the Australian desert, and they put a Centurion to see if it would survive, and it did. They decontaminated it, sent it to Vietnam, got hit by an RPG, drove it off the battlefield, sent it back to Australia.
Come on. I wish I had a nuclear resistant explosion thing right now. Alright, this vehicle crew guy couldn't run, he's did his job. Whoa! Look at that, a free ETR 70. I didn't even call that in. I guess it was just part of the mission. Nice.
This is Lieutenant Bassett. My unit is in the sector.
Just in time, Lieutenant. Come over and join the fray.
In the corner of the panel is his current experience rank. Oh. Okay, I will bring these guys back to pick up the grenade launcher. Actually, honestly, we might just retreat. Why not? Draw them in here to a better position.
Obi-Wan was right. It's better to have the high ground.
If you search up mobile oppression power, it will probably come up. Enemy Hilux? Wait, really? Oh, yeah, I see it. This looks like pretty good ground, yeah. Is this thing... What is this here? Oh, police squad.
They got frag grenades.
Yeah, these guys should run out.
Hello? Anwar? My boy?
Yes, Grandma Hamilia.
Grandma's calling it this mission.
There's a massive tank driving down their street and strange men with guns. They're shouting something and coming your way. Anwar, my boy, take care of yourself out there.
A tank? I guess the army is losing its stock pretty quickly. Or else this is another group of deserters.
I think I accidentally just shot a civilian vehicle with my BTR. Oh no, okay, we shot this. Got a little hippie minivan coming through.
I wonder what the desertion rate was of the Syrian Arab army during this time.
At the beginning phases, it was high. If I remember, like, the Free Syrian Army was, like, composed of, like, I don't know, like 40% of the original National Army's officers corps, something like that. It was intense.
And some armored vehicles too. Your stubborn streak must have really ticked somebody off over there.
And it was like, extra unpredictable at the start, because if I recall correctly, unlike the American Civil War, it wasn't really easily predictable which way you're going to swing depending on what state you were from. Because this one was like almost, can you even call it ideology? I guess if it's just like pro-Western versus pro-Russian versus pro-Assad forces. It was a mess at the start. And then you had the fucking like ISIS pop up in the middle of that to open up fourth front, and then the Kurds open up a fifth front.
It says October 1st, 2011, according to high-ranking defected Syrian Colonel Riyad Assad, 10,000 soldiers, including high-ranking officers, deserted the Syrian army.
It's high, yeah.
On 16th of November 2011, the head of the UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights estimated less than 1,000 had. But at the same time, an FSA battalion commander said that 25,000 had. So no one knows. But yeah, like, any desertion's gonna break morale.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. What can I call in? You can call in a car? Alright, I'll just call in some crew members then. Alright, now I see the use of the general infantry. I will just bring exclusively those, I think, for this rest of the mission. I can bring in a car? Yeah, we're good. I don't think I need one. Get in this? Why did they not get in the car? There we go. Perfect.
Ilias, how's it going?
I'm happy to hear from you.
I love how frequently this commander character just calls people.
We've fallen onto a whole bunch of bandits who are trying to take control of the coastal highway. They've even got a tank.
Almost if he doesn't have to click everywhere like a maniac.
I'll bring every man I can. We're on the way.
What's going on here? Oh, we're being attacked from the mountains. Perfect.
I know they've talked about it with the Ukrainian war, but I guess even back then, if you used your cell phone too much, someone could, like, triangulate in on you.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's not even a cell phone. You remember it was like a Redditor or whatever that, like, posted to Reddit about, like, hey guys, I'm here, right here in this warehouse, in, like, an abandoned school or something, like, used as, like, a makeshift hospital or something, and then immediately it was, like, shelled because someone was just browsing, like, Twitter at the time. Oh, shit. Suicide bombers.
XIF data on his picture, and they were able to see like the geo stamp on it. When I was like super paranoid back in the day, post on social media, I'd scrub all that on anything else.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But I know that happened in Finland when they were doing some kind of field exercise. They told the young like conscripts quit posting on social media, but some of these people are like taking selfies and posting it on social media and everything. And the Op 4 team was going on there, finding it and ambushing them. The commanders were getting really, really ticked.
I'd be pissed too. You already had all those posters from like, I mean, it probably started since like forever, but just the idea of like, you know, loose lip sync ships. But it's like, it's probably got 10 times as hard nowadays with how prevalent cell phones are.
I recently heard the story about how Geraldo Rivera got kicked out of being embedded with the Marines during the 03 invasion of Iraq. Like, he was like drawing out the battle plan in the sand on the ground, like, oh yeah, we're gonna go here and we're gonna go there, and it's like being broadcast live, and the Iraqis were watching it.
Boy.
They're like, yeah, Geraldo, you gotta go now.
The leader of the sector tells me that the army already knows about the bandits you ran into. They promised to allocate forces to clear the surrounding mountains, but right now, they're bringing in equipment to help the local...
This road is a mess right now.
...convoy should go through your sector.
These are brave drivers decided to continue going out on their way. I would turn all the way back. Look at this guy! Holy shit!
Just blew him up.
That is awful.
Winning hearts and minds, good lord.
We'll do all we can to assist you. Without this equipment, we won't be able to assemble self-defense forces in the nearby cities, and the bandits will take over. You must not let that happen. Over and out.
We're here, Anwar. Tell us where we're needed.
Clear the road for the convoy arrives. Oh, perfect. That's fantastic. Alright, let's see. We'll screen it with these guys then. One thing I would really appreciate if they ever made a sequel to this game would be anything showing if your vehicles have line of sight on something. 'Cause that looks like they should hit it, but it looks like they aren't.
Might be too low of a depression on the gun.
Hmm.
It's cool though how like modern tanks are designed to be able to depress like in the negative degree, so they can set up on a hill and kind of have the hill for cover and shoot over the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't silhouette as bad doing that.
Oh, crap. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Alright. Here's where this comes in handy. Yeah! Let's see. Yes! It's for the pickings! It's for the pickings! We are going to rush in and take that thing. Or at least lay down some fire and cover the area for now. I think they still got some guys on the ridge over here. Yeah. I might have put these guys into a very dangerous position now that I think about it. Oh, come on. Still on fire, but we can kill the crew before they get back in that thing. What does this say? T-55A. I don't know any of the difference between the variations.
It's the T-54 came out right behind it, naturally. And then I think it was, I was watching something about it on, the British Tank Museum's YouTube, which is a really good YouTube channel if you like tanks. And I think it was like Khrushchev was trying to have them make lighter tanks. So there was like weight limits he imposed, which why the Soviet leader was that involved in tank design, I do not know. If the funny mustachioed Austrian corporal taught us anything, it's that political leadership should not mess with the military that much.
Yeah, learning about the Stig 44 for the first time and how it was just it was just literally this. It's like I said before, artists as leaders, almost every time in history, it just doesn't tend to work out well, just from a nation building standpoint at a certain point. I don't know what it is. Caligula, Nero, Funny Mustache Man. There are more than a few other examples.
If it's not aesthetic, they don't want it, even if it's better.
And I don't get it, because the Stig is aesthetic. You look at it and you're like, whoa, that's some space age, modern shit. That don't look too bad.
I think it's because Funny Mustache Man came out of the First World War, so submachine guns were like the new hotness, and that's what he was obsessed with. But his designers kind of figured out, well, if we could have an in-between a rifle and a pistol caliber, you have all the fun of a submachine gun with the impact of a rifle. But he was like, no, I saw these things in the trenches. I don't want another rifle.
I don't want it.
Oh, one of the funniest stories is when Adolf Galland, who was a really cool guy, German ace, Battle of Britain, he was a technical advisor for the movie Battle of Britain too, which was interesting. But he was there with Funny Mustache Man on the first flight of the 262 jet fighter, and they were like showing it off, like, look how cool this thing is. We can take down all the American and British bombers. And Funny Mustache Man's like, nah, put bombs on it, make it a bomber.
The idea that he sat in a jet fighter and I was just like, nah, I don't like it. That's insane. How do you just not feel the... I don't even know. It's just the energy, the motivation. Especially as an artist, you should be able to romanticize, make fighter jet fast.
He was not a good strategic mind. He was, well, I guess, okay tactically, although I think much of the Blitzkrieg was Guderian and not him.
Let's see, how good are we doing here? Alright, so I lost. I'm very sad about this. They fixed it up before I was able to siege it, so we had to put it down. So that's gone and done. Cooked turkey dinner aesthetically. That's alright. We didn't lose anyone. I should probably be celebrating that more than random battle loot. Alright, let's move forward a bit here. Where's the sniper? Should have a sniper out there. Why not? Did I put him in here accidentally? I did. Okay, perfect. I have the best visual range, so I want to bring him back out here. Oh my god. What is going on here?
Getting excited. That's actually how my one of my great-great-great-grandfathers got taken prisoner by the Yankees.
Really? Just by rushing forward too much?
It's really cool. We actually have a copy of a book of a distant cousin who was in the same regiment. He wrote it because he's like a newspaper guy, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, my friend told me the story, but it's really about him. It's just like a cheesy romance novel called Rival Lovers, and yeah, they're at the Battle of Petersburg, south of Richmond, which was like proto World War I with trench warfare, and the Yankees actually did the same thing the British did, digging under the trenches and exploding the giant mine.
Ah, the Battle of the Crater. Yes, terrifying.
And Cold Mountain had like the best scene for that. But yeah, like the Yankees broke, and his regiment got like super excited in the counterattack. Like, yeah, we're gonna chase them off the field, and they ran too far and got surrounded. And I was like, all right, well, now we're prisoners. Spent the last 3 months of the war in Point Lookout, and they had to sign a card saying I bear true allegiance to the United States, and then they got to go home.
It's always a slip of paper, huh? My, oh shit. That is... Ah!
I don't think they were at the Battle of the Crater, but they were at Petersburg, I know. And then my, great-great-great-grandfather, who it's like direct male lineage, same last name and everything, he was at Battery Wagner, which was made famous in the movie Glory.
The army can get through. Don't speak too soon, pal.
Another good movie with Matthew Broderick and Carrie Ewells and Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington.
All-star cast. I lost my BTR, I think. Oh no, my BTR is still here. Thank God. Alright, well, I lost the BRD or whatever it was. Alright, but at least we can steal this thing. The MP1, sure, why not?
Cool.
So try to get through this area rapidly.
Copy that, Falcon. I'm beginning my maneuver.
And replace the one that I guess got lost last mission.
I'd rather have had the T-55, but that's done, so... Oh, friendly's coming through. Alright, we just have to make sure one of them survives. That should be easy. Where are you going to spawn from? Yeah, okay, over on this end. Oh, here we go, here we go. Take it, take it. Why aren't you taking it? Why aren't they getting in the thing?
Carrier 2, this is Vulcan 4. I'm doing everything I can.
That's a shame. Alright, I guess we won't take it. Unless... Oh, what kind of crew does this need? Squad emblem. It's just a normal infantry squad in here. Right?
I think they were pretty much made like car controls, steering wheel, gas pedal, and all that.
Ooh! Oh, there we go, there we go. Perfect. Everyone's doing Gucci. What's going on here? Oh, they spawned in the mountains. How's that going? That's so good. Alright, we gotta solve this real quick.
I think it's called the BMP Terminator. The Russians made after the Chechen War, so it could like raise this gun that high up. Because you usually can't raise the main gun that high, and they're getting shot at by high-rise buildings. That was a bloody mess.
Oh, the Grozny? Was that what it was?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that radio transmission about Alec. You know, tell your men to stand down. I don't want to do that. That's gut wrenching.
That is, yeah. Gut wrenching is the word for it. The two officers knew each other or something, right? Before the succession. Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to do this, but you'll leave me no choice. And then he's just like, well, I have my orders. I have to. You ever play Infamous?
Yes, I have played Infamous.
Infamous 2?
Only the first one, but I know of the second one. He goes like down south or something, doesn't he, in that one?
Yeah, it's like supposed to be Louisiana, like New Marais or something, instead of New Orleans. But if you do the bad karma, like I don't want to spoil it, but there's like a scene kind of like that, and I'm like, oh, I don't feel good about this.
I didn't play Infamous 2. I do remember seeing like the pictures in Game Informer. Oh man, that was a magazine.
Yeah, that was a great mag.
I was seeing it. I was just like, the militia is like the bad guys. You know, you're decked out in their yellow like sportswear. I was like, they look fucking cool. I want to join the militia. If I saw that in the walking through a post-apocalyptic New Orleans.
The army managed to get that convoy through.
I played Second Son. It was okay, but like the ending of 2 was so good they didn't really need to carry on.
Yeah, Second Son, they brought in a whole new protagonist, if I remember. Which, you know, I'm not against. It's basically just a very gritty X-Men, if I remember, as the premise for the entire setting. So you can do a lot with that. It's not a bad thing.
And it takes place in like actual Seattle when Empire City and New Marais were made up. It's like, no, Seattle's real. The neon powers are pretty neat, though.
We are getting stronger. From bad to worse, electricity was shut off again. As I foreseen, Putin is selling Assad down the river the same way he did with Donbass. Oh, whoa. That's relevant to current things as well.
People do not remember that like 2011 to 2014 is kind of why we're here now in 2023. Like all this stuff that went on, Arab Spring, Euromod, and all that is like why things are the way they are.
Yeah, it's been everything's pretty much been downstream of the Arab Springs. Sorry, I drank water while breathing like an idiot, as always.
And then, you know, people are just, oh, why did Putin just randomly decide to invade his neighbor? Like, he just woke up February 24, 2022, like, I'm going to invade Ukraine. It's like, nah, there's been a lot going on.
It is crazy how complicated this, I guess anything is.
Whoa. You do got to be in P2. Nice.
Alright, so I should take one of these for sure.
The BMP-1 ATGM is probably like the best of both worlds.
B1, ATGM. Should I bother with the BMP-2 in that regard then?
Yeah, I mean, you could, but I'd hate to lose it.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that. Let's see, BTR-80.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
It's like a souped up technical.
Even government forces are not above using these. Well, yeah, of course. You can take anything you can get. Let's see. Tank crews. This is what you need. Yeah, to seal tanks in the field. See anything here that I don't need? Sure. Alright, so I want to trade some of these for more command points to get just, I guess, something more useful. BTR-80 versus BTR-70. Is there a big difference? After the Afghan war, based on their experience. New engine, faster, more reliable. Okay, I think I want this one then.
You can only take hits from an AK-74.
Wait, really?
Yes, his armor can reliably take hits from only 5.45 bullets.
Damn! What is with this chassis armor?
5.45 is a speedy little pill.
Let's see, do I need anything else? I don't have any cars really. I don't need a Hilux for transport. I'll take it. Look, I'll take the gun truck. Why not? I don't have enough command points. Perfect. Anyone I'm willing to lose?
Yeah,
Sure.
I'd take the squad and hold them back.
Let's see. Is there anything I'm willing to give up here? Yeah, sure. One RPG squad. Why not? Small price to pay for a gun truck. Alright. So what can I deploy here? 6 infantry squads. Sure.
The Vanguard.
I can deploy 2 cars. Perfect. Actually, I should probably take the...
Oh, you got the ATGM technical in your crew now.
Yeah, looted from the one next to the house. Let's see, BTR 80, of course. BB. Sure, just take everything. This is where we could field a tank if we manage to get one. Oh well. You still have more units. What can I add? This? No. Yeah, we're good, we're good. Let's see. The BMP-2 was a battle taxi. It's not supposed to fight. Delivers troops to the front lines and drives back for more. Let's see. This is where my tank would be if I had one, yeah.
Falcon 4, your objective is to push back the fighters. We can't let them gather enough strength to break through our defenses. You really proved yourself in past operations. I think you can handle this one too.
Base 1, what? Push back the fighters.
Oh boy. You prove yourself enough to command it. They're like, yeah, you can handle this, right?
Not an army. Storming sectors isn't in our skill set. Am I to understand the army will take on the brunt of the work?
No, Falcon. They have their directive and you have yours. We cannot risk an all-out attack when those forces are all that stands between the enemy and the Basil al-Assad airport. Those troops must stay in reserve and protect the complex. Your mission is to clear the sector. The fighters are advancing along the whole front, and we have to use everything we've got, including police forces. You'll get some army units to bolster your ranks.
Alright. Sure. Let's see, what do we got?
Oh, he was the heir apparent to Hafez al-Assad, and he got killed in that car wreck, and that's why Bashar had to take over.
Really?
Yeah, like, the crazy thing about the now President Assad is he was like an eye doctor in London. He's like, hey, I don't gotta run the country, I'm just gonna be a doctor. And then when his brother got killed in that car wreck, he had to get recalled back to Syria, and so I was like, oh yeah, now you're gonna be the heir apparent.
There's a few cases of that, yeah, in history in general. This reluctant call to leadership.
Old Eddie VIII gave up the throne for frickin' Wallace Simpson, and that's why King George VI had to take over. It was interesting too how you get these hereditary monarchies, but not like necessarily royal governments.
It's something that is so fascinating with the development of the Roman Empire after like the Judeo-Claudian dynasty, the one that descends from Augustus. Because basically, implicitly, after the first 5 of that, they decided, all right, we're going to decide our dynasties from now on just by pure military expertise in civil wars. Because that's meritocratic in its own way, right? Technically, sure.
You can hold on to power, you deserve it.
So the Roman world was pretty much just... I mean, you know, the late Republic already had a bunch of civil wars, but even more so in the Empire, a new dynasty was just... You were expected to tear the Empire apart in a civil war for a decade or two.
Have you ever seen it came out like a few years ago, but it's like the Shakespeare play Coriolanus, but it's like took place in modern times?
Was that... No, I saw the one with Patrick Stewart playing Macbeth with like a... It was like in the modern times is kind of the idea.
It had Ralph Fiennes and Gerard Butler. It was really cool because like they were wearing that ugly UCP army camo, but their name tape said like Roman Empire Republic or whatever it was at the time. And they were wearing like modern combat gear and shooting like M4s, but they had what would have been their like Vexillium as a unit patch. Really cool. And Gerard Butler's like I can't remember if he's Carthaginian or whatever, but he was like dressed up as like a terrorist. That was a really sad story. And they were speaking like Shakespearean English too, but it was all modern.
That's the trouble I have with it, yeah. Because like, this is just a me thing, if they want to keep it the Shakespearean English, but I could not immerse myself into the Macbeth set in like a Cold War communist country thing with the Shakespearean English on top of it. But maybe it just depends on the context. Because if it was like, if it's something like space, like Dune, I can for some reason excuse that a lot more just in getting immersed in it. But yeah, it's nothing like having to do with the quality. This is just my own schizo head thing, I guess.
I still need to see that was it Romeo and Juliet came out in the 90s. Because they say that's actually one of the most accurate adaptations.
And it takes place in LA, apparently, to one of the comments I'm seeing.
They're wearing like Hawaiian shirts and their swords are like Berettas and stuff. I don't know, I like that anachronistic. It's modern times, but we're speaking like Elizabethan English. I don't know, that just gels with me. It's also like when they use anachronistic music, like you just have something in medieval times where they're playing like electric rock guitar. I don't know, just like that.
That one, I mean, that was pretty much like every 80s like cheesy time travel movie, and that worked. Especially the, what Bill and Ted is like still being talked about today.
Oh yeah, it was excellent.
I didn't see the new one. Oh my god, my squads were just stepping over mines this whole time, and I forgot to. Yeah, you have engineer squads now to take care of those.
Base 1 reaching. Base 1, we've cleared one of the points.
A good old sapper.
We copy. Move on to the next one.
They have pistol duels in 90s Romeo and Juliet. That's cool, actually.
Not bad. Guess we won't be running out of ammo anytime soon.
Okay, there we go. First supply truck. Who should I commandeer that with?
Amateur study tactics, professional study strategy, and expert study logistics.
I say that knowingly, as if I have a, a good knowledge of logistics myself. I understand the basics of a supply chain. What was the big thing even relevant to us? World War II. What was it? We had like after D-Day, we were pretty much just going like it was breakneck pace. But then our supply lines got stretched so much that we had to pause, and that led to the battle in the Adrianus. I'm not pronouncing it right. Yeah, the Argents.
Yeah, that was I think they called it like the Red Ball Express. That's how they're trying to get fuel up there. Like they were just driving nonstop, trying to get tanker trucks going. But was it you or someone else that sent me the thing where it's like during the Battle of the Bulge, the Germans overran a supply truck and they found ice cream? And they're like, yeah, we're about to lose the war. Like, we're barely getting bread, and they're sending ice cream to the front.
Yeah, I think it was, you sent me that, so you got it from someone else. But yeah, just that starkness. I remember it, just the demoralization effect that has, just even when the Germans go back to their lines and tell about that. But yes, that was the thing I remember with American logistics. We were able to rely on trucks compared to the European tactics relying on trains, which were easily stopped by breaking up the track lines, which is what the Germans did as they were retreating.
The Germans did themselves a disservice. It's like in all their propaganda photos, you see like Opel Blitz trucks and Hanomag half tracks like running around. So everyone's like, whoa, the Germans are super mechanized, but they had more horses in their army than trucks.
Yeah.
They're still doing things with carts, especially on the Eastern Front.
The Eastern Front, if I remember right, there was the attempt to use the Lwów to supply mainly by air logistics, but that was a disaster, if I recall.
Goering promised Hitler, I can resupply Stalingrad with like my Ju-52s, and we'll just like airdrop things, and we'll land on these little makeshift runways to evacuate the wounded. Because the Soviet Air Force really kind of sucked. Like the reason Erich Hartmann, the highest scoring ace of all time, had like 352 kills was that the Soviet pilots are just so inept. But the tanks were good, so they were able to overrun like any airfield.
Oh shit! Stop!
Stalin didn't invest in the Air Force because Stalin was scared of flying.
Wait, really?
He apparently like kind of sucked it up to fly out to Yalta or Tehran, one of the conferences with the big three. And apparently I heard the story that on the way back they hit such bad turbulence, and he was so freaked out when he got back to Moscow. He's like, I'm never flying again. And he like arrested a bunch of designers and kind of had them doing like weird stuff.
Now, did he
But-
arrest these aircraft designers for political purge reasons, or just because he was terrified of more aircraft?
But it's like out of that, or you got the MiG Bureau and the Baklevin Bureau and Tupolev and all them.
Hmm.
Soviet aviation's fascinating. Because Lenin actually established like the Soviet version of NASA, like after the revolution kind of calmed down.
Really?
'Cause he saw through like the First World War and stuff that aviation's important, and as big as Russia is, they need to be able to move around it quickly. So they had like the aeronautical and subnaut. It's not like air and sea research. And you would have these different design bureaus. It's all government owned, but you'd have these different design bureaus come up with designs, and the winning design would then get sent to the state factories to be implemented. And you get prizes and awards for your design. So there was a motivation that is still like, State Factory 34 is going to produce the Sukhoi design.
My favorite weird German technology were the wood-burning cars. What is that?
Oh yeah, with the oil shortages, because they were getting oil from Romania and the Middle East, and all that got cut off. They started experimenting with like charcoal.
Wood-fired cars?
Yeah, they actually made a jet airplane that burned like wood ash or something.
A jet airplane that burns? How long could it fly? Was it
I don't know.
reliable?
It's called like the Lipish. It looks like a Dorito chip. It's supposed to run off of like some kind of coal oil.
It's downright impressive if it can actually do that. I mean, it did. Yeah, it's insane.
The war made like leaps and bounds in synthetic technologies because there wasn't enough rubber oil to go around, so they started making polymers and stuff.
It is what they say. Limits breed creativity. But more often that was said with Sam Hyde. Oh yeah, there was that No, I forgot what I was gonna say. Never mind. Let's see. There's a supply truck going. His gun truck looks like something out of Twisted Metal.
Put a clown head on it.
Man, I remember that was the game I loved playing as like a 6-year-old boy, but I was terrified because the intro has him go like ha 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 ha, and then Calypso would show up because I had Twisted Metal 2, and he had the terrifying like burned out face in that one. I hated it, but I had to keep playing because it was fun.
There was a game series, I don't know if you heard about it. It's like that time of video games, car combat was super big. It's called Vigilante 8. And it took place in like the 70s. It was really cool. And then Vigilante 8 2 had like a time travel element. But you'd like driving like Plymouths and Jimmy trucks and big rigs and had like a disco soundtrack. It was really awesome.
The 90s were so creative. You see this return, yeah, to like 90s breakcore and stuff like that. Even with the my newest like music mix compilations, it's like all 90s game soundtracks or whatever, and it's just like the most chill D&B breakcore.
Reminds me of the Adult Swim like breaks and stuff, bumpers. What tripped me out was when the Plock OST became a huge hit.
Plock, yes, the boss theme song and everything.
Yeah, when that, because I had that like, I ripped the MP3 like years ago when we used to listen to it when I was a welder and we could listen to music at work. And I just jam along to it because that's such great memories. And then it starts like showing up in all these memes. I'm like, hold the phone.
I got here first. Oh, my mind. I should have paid attention.
I heard Shigeru Miyamoto when because like two English brothers made Plock when they like showed it off to him. Because one of the guys was just a wizard with the music technology, all those chips and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like Miyamoto swore there was a boombox like hidden somewhere playing this music separate from the game. And he's like, no, I'm running this off the Super Nintendo's hardware. And Miyamoto's like, how?
That is fun. You see so much of this, yeah. Like, I just love when like two countries are able to bounce like between this like feedback loop of innovation. Or both sides are like consistently impressed with each other, like decade by decade.
It's funny too, because like with modern technology, like Twitter, I follow David Wise. And I kind of want to talk to him, but my Twitter's a horrible mess of opinions and stuff. I know it's like not good for polite company, but I still follow him. And I just want to tell him, like, dude, thank you so much for writing the soundtrack to my childhood. Like Donkey Kong Country is like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
My mom and my aunt used to play it like all the time when me and my cousin were little, and we'd watch them.
it pretty much kicked off like vaporwave, if you remember that one, like
Oh yeah, aquatic ambience.
Yeah, aquatic ambience pretty much kicked off an entire movement of music, which is insane to think about.
They say that someone uploaded a video of it on YouTube, and if like you go read the comments, it's like a therapy session. Everyone's just talking about like their day and just being real open and stuff. I'm like, that's the power of this music, man. My favorite was always the forest interlude from the second one.
Yeah.
In the Spooky Woods. He did the soundtrack for Tropical Freeze on the Wii U, I think, and it's got his like fingerprints all over it. But it's also made on modern sound technology, so it's like FLAC files or something. But the limitations of that early hardware just gave it a soul that you can't really replicate.
It's consistent, yeah, about like this sort of early technology, or even as I just said before, so many have said before me, even just limits breeding creativity. Because you see this now with this huge nostalgia wave for traditional cel-shaded animation.
Oh, yeah.
And it is beautiful. It really is. But it's like, oh my god, it's so much easier to animate digitally. Like, you can't blame any studio or any artist even for trying to like go the easy route. But it's also like such a shame, yeah, to lose this beautiful
like
old stuff.
The early seasons of Arthur on PBS growing up, they were all hand done, but right before they canceled or wrapped up the show, it went to Flash. And like you said, you can't blame them. It's quicker, cheaper, but
Attention all groups, it appears they've got mortar guns. Take cover!
Motor guns. That's not fun. Alright, everyone back up. Holy shit. What should we do here?
can you call in artillery yourself? Or?
I cannot, no. I guess the best thing to do is rush them with any mobile vehicles. Not this.
You don't have smoke launchers, do you?
I do have smoke launchers, yes. Where are they? Yeah, just to cover ourselves even right now. Separate the tank crews from this. I don't want anything getting hit at the same time. Holy shit. Alright, yeah, we'll rush one of these things forward. I'm willing to lose... I'm not willing to lose any of these things. Sure, we'll do a rapid strike force with the BTR. Why not? Go. Be free. Okay, well that was predictable. Come on, come on. Don't let any RPG crews hit into buildings ruin your day. You got this. Yeah. There we go. This is a real hero moment. And not my name, I mean as in like an actual real human being. Holy crap.
Ryan Gosling driving the
I gotta see Ryan Gosling edit it over as like the rockets come in. Oh, what a waste. What a waste. And there's still a motor crew alive. Alright, shit, just go in and take these buildings. There's nothing else to really do. I really don't want to... Oh, shh! My ears! Hey! Would you look at that? Well, thank goodness.
Good old hip seat.
I was not expecting that help. I'm very pleasantly surprised.
President Assad is helping.
Oh, this is where we get the promised army squad reinforcements. Perfect, yeah, like the actual leg up on the police squads. Okay, let's not do what I just did there. Stop, 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 stop. There we go. Whew. Whoa, that's a lot more than I thought.
Falcon 4, this is Jin 1. We are your reinforcements.
Jin. Yeah, he granted a wish, that's for sure.
It's not top priority. All available forces are being sent to aid you.
Oh, that's a cool unit pack.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's serious business anytime you see a skull and crossbones on a unit patch. Assault squad.
Someone showed a Japanese battle flag from Manchukuo where it was the rising sun with like a white skull in the middle of the red dot. And it was like pretty, you know, slick. But then they said, "I want a special forces group." They just decided to look cool.
Yeah. A lot of the auxiliary puppet regimes of the Japanese Empire were not so competent with that regard.
It
Just
makes
whatever
you feel
looked
so
cool.
bad for Puyi though. Like he was just tossed around by the waves of fate his whole life.
Oh yeah, have you seen The Last Emperor, the movie?
I need to. I've seen the part where he had the was it the British teacher? Or something?
Yes. Oh, it's it's this consistent story. You see it pop up multiple times in the as soon as the West makes contact with China, of like this young Chinese man getting like tutored, usually by like a British mentor, and they have such a beautiful, genuine connection, and almost inevitably fate will tear them apart in such a brutally sad way. You had that, with Emperor, The Last Emperor. I highly recommend that movie. Very depressing, but yeah, just you want to see how much fate can like just toss someone around. That's it. But you also had it with the Taiping Rebellion. That was the same thing of like this young guy demoralized after failing his exam multiple times meets like a Christian priest, and as the revolution gains steam and the Christian priest comes back excitedly to see his pupil like set up a Christian kingdom as he claims. And then they like have so many arguments into the night of just like, this is not a Christian regime that you're setting up, Mr. Hong. This is some bizarre schizo cult. And
it was like really Branch Davidian kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If Waco had led to the deaths of millions.
Yeah, it is. I can't imagine like the heart wrenching of like the English guys in both of those situations. Just seeing like you introduce Western thought to these guys, and it's just like, whoa, what leads from it.
And then he becomes like a street sweeper in communist China when he used to be the emperor.
Yeah. I believe him when he says that he was happy towards the end, at least. He had a wife that he met and stuff like that. And all he wanted was a simple life, it turns out. I mean, even when he was trying to flee China, without spoiling too much of the movie, his life, he was just trying to flee to England at a certain point. But seduced by power, promises of a nice little regime in Manchukuo.
It's better to be a puppet emperor than not an emperor, I guess.
Let's see, he was a Scot. Oh yeah, it was a Scottish teacher. My bad. He was a huge traditional Chinese nerd. Puyi's teacher, that is, yeah. Yeah, I'm so bad at keeping up with the chat. Let's see, what's going on here? Hold the key point. Oh, okay. I don't even have to send these guys to their death anymore. Let's set up some good things here. This thing needs a resupply. I'll just park this here.
I think it was in Syria. He had that video where they shot at a MiG. And they're like, "Look, things are falling off of it. We've hit it." And he's like, "No, you idiot. Those are bombs."
Oh, is this thing disabled? Perfect. Alright, that's awful. Anti-tank squads, park them. Oh, actually get refueled. They only have like 4 rockets available. Assault squad, I guess we'll keep here. Infantry squad, set it up here.
Base 1, continue your advance. Clear the last key points. Your sector is crucial.
Understood, Base 1. Why are we receiving so much special attention?
Who may mean must be protected. That is our primary objective. Everything will be explained soon. Base 1, over and out.
Ooh, secrets. Alright, this is the part of the game where I start losing a lot of people and I feel awful about it, but Yeah, when you have this many like separate squads at your command, I'm just like,
is willing to allocate you additional forces from the mechanized brigade. The T-55 is a bit outdated, but you can get a lot done with one if you know.
Here we go. A free pity tank given by the armed forces. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
T-55.
With the Dishka on top.
Let's see, what is this? Can also loot that, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, with this many units under my command, I just kind of blank out and start sending a bunch of men needlessly to their deaths. Now we see why those Chinese historical battles, their casualty rates in the millions.
I think that's what's happening in Ukraine right now. Is like they keep saying that the Russians are using human wave tactics, but I think Putin knows how unpopular like huge casualty lists are, so he's being real cautious. But then you just kind of have a slow trickle of bleeds and one overwhelming one.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see like the other day the Kiev Independent said that like for the whole year of conflict the Russians lost about 16,000 men?
16,000 men.
Yeah, but like all we've been hearing from a lot of sources like 200,000. And so like there's a lot of people in the comments going like maybe 16,000 that they're acknowledging, but I'm like, it's the Kiev Independent. They don't have any reason to like lie.
I wonder. When it comes to like insane estimates like this, I honestly just go somewhere in the middle. I just average it out, and I don't know if that's efficient, but
both sides are gonna, you know, play up or play down, whatever, you know, helps the cause, but it's still more than they lost in the entirety of Afghanistan, regardless if it's the lower or higher estimate.
Let's see.
But counterinsurgency, you don't really have like a lot of high casualties with that, hopefully.
Leary says, I just want this war to be over so I can go back to my life. Yeah, it's fucking tragic.
Yeah.
Captain, there's an abandoned army repair base here with a few usable tanks they left behind.
Finally, some good news. Now we just have to find a crew, ammo.
Ah! Look at this!
You got a motor pool just in the middle of the...
Yeah! Oh, that is perfect. Okay,
I got that other tank here.
let's see. Yeah, I got some tank crews along. Perfect. I got the exact right number for the 2 usable ones. That is awesome. What's the problem with these though? They're out of fuel. They're out of ammo. Perfect. Alright, first we gotta find a field truck. What is going on back here?
You got a supply truck.
Yeah, at the very least we got that.
Just like resupply anything, or
Yeah, anything. If you just set it up in the general gist of the area. Now, a field truck. I saw one here. Yeah, we'll just put these guys in. Oh, I hate putting an important squad of engineers in, but oh well.
Hey, Captain, my wife is from around here. One of her relatives lives nearby. He was a tank driver under the old Assad. And he's...
Hafez.
Maybe we can check on him.
Alright,
He was our ally in the first Gulf War.
Really?
I got his trading card.
I forgot that we used to make trading cards of like... Well, you remember like during the Iraq invasion, we had like, the trading cards of like most wanted lists or something like that.
My mom got me a deck of those on a business trip. I just still had them. Yeah, like Saddam was the ace of spades, his sons were the aces of other suit. I remember when they got them like real close together, like a few days apart or something. They were right, little buggers. Like all the crap they did, shoot.
Yeah, I remember reading about
they learned it from their old dad, but they kind of took it a step further too.
Yeah, what was it? Saddam's son, one of them was like, he just kept AKing kidnapping women. A real like Beria kind of figure, if I remember correctly.
Beria. You've seen The Death of Stalin, right?
Yes. Oh, it's fucking amazing. It's so fun. Okay, we need to take care of this RPG crew. Where are the snipers? That is like the one thing preventing any sort of movement right now. Oh, I would cry if I lost any of these tanks right now. Alright, so we got one T-62, one T-55, perfect. And we got the other one here that was sent in. Should move these BMPs forward.
Have you ever seen the 2000 made-for-TV movie about Nuremberg?
I did not. Was that any good?
It's like 3 hours. It's free on YouTube. It's got Alec Baldwin in it. And have you ever seen Hell on Wheels? The guy that plays the Swede, he's in it too. Really tall, like Norwegian dude. But it's really interesting because they focus a lot on Goering and how he had like this special relationship with his jailer. But it said that because there was like a similar thing with Saddam when he was in captivity, and apparently Saddam liked watching The Passion of the Christ.
Really?
Which kind of tricked out his jailers, and he was like, even though he was, I think, was he Shia? No, he was Sunni because he fought the Shias in Iran. But even he was like kind of moved by the movie and was like, you know, I can't believe they did this to him.
It's like the
like,
Frankish king where he would like, if I had been there, it simply would have happened differently.
Like very same thing, and apparently like his jailer said like on Christmas he would light candles or do something, and he was just like real intrigued that Saddam had a Christmas tradition. It's just, you know, fascinating, weird stuff that comes out years after the fact.
Why is everyone promoting Private Raj in the chat? Oh, we gotta save the tank crew. This is gonna be a slow gist. I wish I had something faster. Last time I said a BMP forwarded to the gates of hell, it didn't go so well. Let's see what's going on out here. Everyone... Do I have any sort of infantry squad? Take this building before I move anyone forward.
Have you ever seen the video of Gaddafi talking at like the Arab League?
I have not seen that one.
It was after they hung Saddam, and Gaddafi's like standing up there, and like Bashar al-Assad's there, and some other leaders. And, like they made like a joke about Saddam or something, and Gaddafi's like, "You laugh, but he could have been any one of us. He could be me. He could be you next. You don't know who America's gonna go after." And like he basically like predicted the future. It was really weird.
That is crazy. So like these other figures like on camera like laughing it off, like they thought it wasn't gonna.
Yeah, like because I guess they didn't really care for Saddam, or maybe he made some enemies. But like people forget that Gaddafi, after George Bush, was like, you know, anyone who will unclench their fist, we will extend a hand of friendship to. Just give up your weapons of mass destruction. And Gaddafi's like, cool, I got some old like mustard gas I want to get rid of, and he did. And Bush was like, see, Gaddafi's had a change of heart, whatever. And then Obama kills him, or helps get him killed. That like hurt our view, or the view of us around a lot of the world that doesn't like us. Because there's no way that like North Korea is going to denuclearize when they see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it is crazy that Gaddafi, you know, kind of tried to act a little different, but there's many reasons I think why we got rid of him.
What is like taking out my tanks right now? Where's that rocket coming from? I didn't lose any tanks, thank God, but like 2 guided missiles came out of nowhere.
Weirdest thing I think though about Gaddafi was like the crush he had on Condoleezza Rice.
Yes. Didn't he have like a secret scrapbook of her that was found in his bedroom?
And he showed it to her.
He showed it to her. Ah! I'm not. I have no skill with women pretty much, but even I know that's not a. I don't recommend showing your scrapbook to a woman that you barely converse with to anyone here in this chat.
I had an uncle that was in the Air Force, and he was stationed in Tripoli before the revolution, and I think he had to leave after Gaddafi took over. Because he like lived down in Florida. Orlando-ish.
Let's see. I gotta take a drink of water real quick.
Yeah, all the English women of my family married American airmen. It's quite weird.
So they were around the base then, wherever they were stationed.
Yeah, well, my grandfather met a friend when he was in dental technician school from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, but they went to tech school in Great Lakes, Chicago with the Navy because they had like a joint force training thing there. And they both got stationed south of Swindon in the UK. So when they go on like Liberty, they would go up north into town. And his friend, his name was John, he met my cousin Anne because my grandmother and her nieces were like real close in age. And so my grandfather was third wheeling and met my grandmother, and apparently he climbed like the drain pipe to see her, like some kind of weird Romeo Juliet thing. And then, not to be left out, my grandmother's youngest niece, I don't know where she found him, but he was in the Air Force as well, but he did more with planes. There are some air bases close to my dad's hometown, though.
Right next to my old home county, New London County. I think I told you this before. We have electric boat, so there's like literally like a nuclear submarine like facility right next to right, almost 20 minutes away from where my old hometown was. And the crazy thing with that is
Hey, Uncle Mansoor!
Get out of here, you vile I told you I would never join you. This is
good old Uncle Mansoor.
do what you want. Blow me up if you have to, but I will not join you.
Uncle Mansoor, it's me, Raji!
Raji? I didn't think you were dumb enough to join them.
No, Uncle, I haven't joined them. I'm in the army. We need your help. You used to be a tank driver, didn't you? We've got a tank, but we need a crew. Can you help?
What? Are Assad's forces here? That's great news. I served under his father.
Like we were talking about this kind of like like monarchy versus dictatorship things and how one forms the other, and this is basically kind of like how the average person would feel towards like a monarchical dynasty they respected. Of like, I serve this father. Oh, it's son time. It is insane how like dictatorships almost 90% of the time they morph into a hereditary thing, pretty much. Yeah.
They just kind of, I guess, keep the trappings of democracy or republic so they can have like cred among the people.
Even the term of emperor, like it means like commander. Yeah. So it's just someone calling himself the commander in chief, pretty much in English. They never really ever claimed to be like the word king, because even then, in the Roman Republic, even in the late ages, it had a negative connotation. The king, the tyrant. It's fascinating how little human psychology and sociology change over time. Pretty much the same as it always is.
Other than that, like, scant window of time in the 1800s when new countries were forming in Europe, if you were to go out and say, I've been anointed by God to be your king, people would just look at you like you've lost it.
Yeah.
But if you say, like, I've somehow seized the throne and I'm just going to run it, and then my kid's going to run it afterwards, but we can still have, like, a parliament, people will be like, okay.
Uncle Mansoor sounds like a nice guy. I'd stop by his house for tea, of course. Oh, it's Ignis. Oh, Ignis waved hi to you, fancy.
Ignis.
Oh, but what was I talking about? Oh, yeah, like I had friends that like would go to work at Electric Boat, either as like welders for the submarine or as full-blown engineers. So like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this on like public airwaves or whatever, but like they have to like, you have to get like security clearance, so I'm pretty sure nothing of this is like illegal to mention or whatever. But yeah, it's like they would have to ask them for like friend references and stuff for their interviews and to like get their backgrounds checked and everything. And they would always get to putting down my name on the list as like a friend contact. And the agent like interviewing them would always get a little nervous and like, is this this is a foreign national friend, because then this gets like extra complicated as a process. They go, oh no, he's a U.S. citizen, and the agent always breathes like a sigh of relief just from a bureaucratic paperwork standpoint of like, oh thank God, because if you have any foreign friends, this gets way longer of a process.
Oh yeah. When I came back from my little time overseas and thought about trying to rejoin the Navy, the recruiter's like, "How long have you been back in country?" I'm like, "Less than a month." And she was like, "Oh."
Oh
I
no.
was like, I was in a fellow NATO country. Why is this an issue?
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently, like, they don't want you to get above, I think, secret if you're a dual national because they can't trust you or something.
Yeah.
I was like, well, okay. I had a buddy from high school. He became a submarine hull technician. He had to go through the FBI rigmarole.
So I have a motor team here, but they haven't been doing much. Oh, wait. 90 grenades empty. They shot 90 grenades and I didn't notice. Well, that's great. That means they've been doing good work, I assume. Command has not been paying attention to your use of motors, shells. Please be liberal with your use. Oh, they're slow. They're slow. I see. That's the game balancing effect. They're not even moving at, like, the speed a human would with that equipment. They're purposefully slowing down.
I'm sure those are Soviet mortars.
82 millimeter frags. Yeah, whatever. If anyone has any knowledge of what that is.
I think the Soviets did the same thing as NATO, where you would like take a BMP, open up the top hatches, and drop a mortar there so you could scurry around with it.
Ah, I saw that in the Company Heroes 2 had that. That was so much fun. Some of the German half tracks that you just played a motor team inside them.
The Hanomag was such a like universal, capable vehicle. The Brin carrier is kind of that, but not near as like good.
Was the Brin carrier the really tiny one that held like maybe 2 men or something? Yeah, you see, I don't really. I'm not sure if that would fill the same role as a half track to me for sure.
It was, I don't know, it's supposed to be like a super Jeep, I guess, but still, like you could put machine guns, a flamethrower, whatever you want on it. And then the Italians bought them pre-war and made their own copy. And the Vickers Lloyd carrier, I think, was the original.
We don't have the forces to hold out longer, and so you'll have to.
There are those suicide trucks coming at me again. Alright, I see them on the minivap. Oh, I am so terrified right now. Alright. Oh, they blew up Uncle Mansoor's house. What the hell? They're just blowing up his house. He's not there anymore. Can you imagine the level of like sieve of like someone going to your house after you knowingly evacuated it and 3 suicide bombers separately?
They really want him gone.
That's crazy. Yeah, I rescued the tank crew, but we don't have any tanks left to save. But I mean, better to have than not to have them. Yeah, how many tanks do I have now?
Tank crews get rotated.
I don't know how often they get rotated, but I can definitely imagine the jealousy of tank crews having over their tank being piloted by someone else. Especially now with how many weebs have, like us, have pretty much infested like the armed forces, like from top to bottom. But like, yeah, you see like tank crews planting so much anime stuff in their little vehicles.
The amount of weebs, bronies, and furries in the military is just astounding.
It is surreal, but I guess that's the link with low functioning to high functioning autism. Joining military stuff is cool, and weeb stuff is cool.
There was a Humvee had a thing that was like how to do a 9-line radio call, but it had Homura from Madoka, like, I'll save you. She had like a Rambo knife and bandana and was holding Kyubey's head. I'm like, what the world? That was a good show.
Madoka Magica, all my friends saw, but I never actually saw it. But everyone just kind of spoiled like the edgy moments for me. So I'm like, ah, man.
I'm sorry, I went into it blind and it was great. Because at first, like the first couple episodes, you're just like, okay, it's like Sailor Moon-ish, and then you're just like, oh wait, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon never did that.
It was that kind of general trend at the time that they made a lot of those type of shows of very subverting of your expectations. There was that for Magical Girl. Spec Ops: The Line, were you about to mention?
No, I was gonna say Spec Ops Magica something. It was this weird like PTSD simulator. I watched because Kay recommended it, and it was interesting, but it had some weird stuff in it. It was like there was 3 different like worlds kind of clashed with ours. One was like a fantasy world, one was like a monster world, and us in the fantasy world had to like battle the monsters. So they had to turn like these human girls into magical girls from different countries. So you had like 2 Japanese, an American, a Russian, and I can't remember if there was a European one or not. But like they fight this war and they're only kids and they win, but they're all like suffering from trauma. And then they get like this monster insurgency or something. It was just strange.
There was something like that came out recently that I know you watched, but I didn't get to see it. It was no, I forgot about it already. It was like some sort of like Deaf Forces soldier squad, and they weren't expected to survive, and they were like some minority of the Empire or whatever.
Oh, 88.
Yeah, there we go. You knew it. It's
86. 86. No, I was thinking Era 88. No, 86. That was good.
It reminded me of Valkyria Chronicles 2 or 3. Yeah, that had like sort of this penal legion effect.
No state. That's pretty much what it would be. Everyone had like silver hair and blue eyes, like everybody. I was like, uh-oh.
The thing with Valkyria Chronicles is that, like, yeah, they progressively made it much more cynical. So, like, the first one, you're just this militia force defending this neutral kingdom caught between the 2 powers, and then you join the allies. But it's pretty fun in, like, how scary even the allied forces appear overpowering your little kingdom. But it's, yeah, your militia force, you're pushed around by the regular army sometimes, but that's kind of the extent of a lot of it in some regard. Valkyria Chronicles 2, it's the country's torn apart in a civil war, and so it's like, yeah, it's like a lot more gritty in terms of, yeah, just like going for your kingdom and seeing like, ah, damn. And then 3, it goes back to the World War II thing, but yeah, you're like this convict legion that's like treated like absolute shit, and I don't even think you have names. That's the point. You're not recorded in history after by your own kingdom, despite the things you do for it. And then 4 returns back to, yeah, a little more regular army forces. It's kind of a step back from just how pessimistic a lot of the premises were becoming. Very fascinating little franchise. I don't even know if I particularly enjoy the gameplay that much, but I guess it's one of the only things of its kind.
I played 1 and 4.
You play, yeah, so you get kind of the gist. 1 and 4 are basically almost the same in tone. 4 is so much fun with the... I think they added the mortar teams in that, and you just feel so satisfied just
yeah,
shelling enemy positions.
Trying to do some of the challenges. I just like looked up walkthroughs on how to completely break the game. Be like the mortars that have like pinpoint accuracy, like double the damage, and give them this order and that order.
Whoa, Russian Marine Corps! Hey, Russian Marine Corps. What? Huh? What are you doing here?
Naval infantry support. They were pretty awesome in the Second World War. Like, they fought in like sailor suits.
Oh, that is fun. Here we go. Russian Marines are an elite assault squad. No kidding. Where are they? Oh, they're in here? Let's see. Oh, I don't want to use them needlessly. Let's see. I'm really excited, yeah, just to get these like soldiers out, like like it's a model set or something. I want to see what they look like. G. Koslov Volcano 1 Russian Marines. Fascinating.
Yeah, it's really sad that this was like one of the flashpoints of the geopolitical chess game because Russia's invited by the legitimate Assad government, and America under the last 2 administrations were like, no, how dare you?
The Syrian civil war is another, like depressing chess piece in this. It doesn't really ever end, does it? What was it called even back in the 1800s? The Great Game?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like
Britain,
Afghanistan was the
Russia.
chessboard between the British Empire and the Russian Empire, if I remember.
Because Russia wanted to get further there, but we were scared that they're going to cut off our access to India, so we had to try and stop that.
There was like a Kraut video, and I really dislike a lot of Kraut's stuff, but he's kind of got like the really heavy neoliberal end of history sort of thing. And it's just so frustrating listening. Like one of his last videos was something like, in that regard of just the geopolitics is over. Like we've been working on a flawed game invented in like the 1800s. It's like no, the game of empires doesn't stop, and it's naive to think it ever will. It's just what happens, and it's sad that it does. But you can't just pretend like Kumbaya will ever end it, even under like a theoretical. I was reading some sort of alternate history thing. I think it was like a game mod or whatever about like if the Soviets won and the whole world fell under communism, it did the accurate thing of just like even that would fall into like factional blocks of like differing views of communism or whatever. Even just regionally, you would have these rivalries crop up again, threatening to break up the red peace or whatever you would call it.
Yeah.
Pax Russo.
Die-hard Marxist. Well, no, I'm Marxist-Leninist. Well, I'm Maoist. Well, I'm Third Worldist. Well, I'm, industrialist. I'm peasant farmerist. You just have that.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I'm market liberal. I'm controlled market liberal. I think every ideology falls into a purity death spiral at some point.
Yeah, that's kind of the trouble with it's you don't want to get too far into like real politics, even as like a thing to like be pragmatic with as a country leader, but it's pretty much inevitable, if you don't want this death spiral kind of thing. Let's see, where are my engineers? I need this cleared now, please.
There was that one Russian soldier. I think he was made a saint by the Russian Orthodox Church. And he was in Syria, and like ISIS surrounded him, so he called like danger close on himself. He's only like 18 or 19, but dang.
Jesus, 18 or 19. That's something that comes into mind of you definitely got a bit more experience than me on the age game, but hearing about I guess every war that crops up, just reading about these 18, 19-year-olds that are getting killed, and you just go, man.
Like I'm
like I would have been that age just a few years ago, and you just think and go, man.
You probably got a lot of kids in Russia that are like here in America where they want to serve their country, they want to join the military, and do the motherland proud. And so they get sent, as volunteers to Syria to help out.
What is going on here? Oh, I have automatic grenade launchers. I didn't even know.
It's also very miraculous how hard the Russian Orthodox Church bounced back after communism.
Yeah, it's downright impressive. And I've heard a lot of like debate from me. I got one friend who's very invested in the conflict IRL, and one thing he pointed out was just, I don't even know if I should bring it up because this is getting into territory I haven't even looked up myself, but just my friend mentioning it was saying like, the Orthodox, he mentioned something that the Russian Orthodox Church looking impressive on paper, but the abortion rates were insane or something. But then that's also something you can kind of describe with any sort of country. It's always so complicated with all these pragmatic sort of attempts to do anything, I suppose, with the church of any country. But in terms of just even raw church attendance numbers, it is impressive of any former communist country bouncing back so much. I have no idea how it's handled.
I've got friends in Germany and stuff, and they were talking about how even after the wall fell, like Eastern Germany is still pretty atheistic. Like it hadn't recovered.
I didn't know that.
Lutheran areas before the wall came up. So I don't know if like the two are related or not, but it is sad because I watched a documentary about life behind the wall that BBC did, and there was a lady who was interviewed, and when she was a kid, her dad was like a Lutheran minister, and he didn't have to stop under the communists. There's just she couldn't join like the Young Pioneers and was excluded from some stuff. So,
That was a story with a lot of East Germany in general, if I remember. Yeah, like being a church member pretty much barred you from any sort of technical position. Or maybe not technical position, but any sort of position in which party connections are very, very... they put you on a sort of priority list, whether officially or unofficially.
Because even Stalin reopened the churches during the war after he did like a huge push against them.
Yeah, he opened it up and then there was like another repression campaign after. It was this is something that like terrifies me on an instinctual, primal level so much of what happened with I believe the Polish partisans that weren't affiliated with the communist movements. After World War II was over, I think they were called the Force Brothers, the non-affiliated resistance fighters. They were promised amnesty by the Soviet government. And they all returned back to their homes. They went back to their families. Some of them started families. They got invested in some new careers, healing from the damage of the wars. And then 5 years or something after the war, they were all just rounded up by the secret police. Like, boom, one night, suddenly. A renegade on the amnesty promise and just taken away to the gulags. And that is so scary to me. Of just like, you can never ever feel comfortable again with the idea of any sort of amnesty when that kind of shenanigans or whatever. It's terrifying.
I heard that the Russians were like right outside Warsaw when the ghetto uprising happened, and the resistance were calling out like, "Hey, we're uprising. We got the Germans tied down. Now's a great time to come in." And they moved up to like the outskirts, and then Stalin said, "Hold." And what they wanted to do is they wanted the Polish resistance to bleed out to Germans, but they wanted the Germans to actually crush the resistance, and they would go sweep up operations later, but it would get rid of anyone who would be willing to put up a fight against them as well. Very cynical.
Yeah. Oh, we are out of ammunition supply truck. That is... Oh, we exhausted this, huh? Alright, what do we got for these tanks? This one's got some machine gun bullets left. Do any of these have any explosive tank shells left? Okay, with the Russian...
Armor piercing incendiary and high explosive incendiary.
Sure, okay. Well, it's stuck in traffic now. Let's just move this aside. So these tanks are only good as machine gun nests at this point. Oh, that is... I haven't even gotten to the next objectives yet. Let's see, how long have we been streaming? Wow! That went by like a flash. 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, in that regard, we'll stream for about like 5 more, 10 more minutes, and then we'll call it a day. I don't want to keep you any longer. The power lines just got knocked down. Is that dangerous for infantry to walk through? I hope not.
Depends on if they're alive.
Alright, so we'll just pack up the supply truck. It's useless. Bring that back. Okay, what happened here? Why would you turn your back towards the enemy? That is where the juiciest target is. Oh, boy.
Oh, that was good timing.
Woo! Please send the meat shield infantrymen forward. Let's not have this be the main target. Let's see. Plant your ass over in that apartment building there. You can take the gas station. Ooh, nice shot.
Yeah, so he still has some shells left.
This one does, yeah. C-55. Is that the last thing we got? This BMP is pretty good. We'll bring that.
He's got 3 more ATGMs. And all of his shells.
Yeah, I guess this one was kept in reserves accidentally. Well, that works out then. Let's see. Plant yourself here. What's going on here? Oh, all the people at Uncle Monsieur's house that came to Death Squad. They were just hanging out here this whole time. Let's bring anyone forward.
Hero 21.
Yeah, just all come here. Why not? What's with this thing? It's got all like fence gates around it.
Yeah, the like anti-RPG armor.
Oh, so that's just meant to like catch anything that will like explode instead of like directly onto its armor. I see. Fascinating.
Causes the copper molten jet to
Oh,
not be able to
crap.
do it. Was that one of yours?
No, that was the enemy's. It's
Oh.
on fire, so we can claim that actually. Where did he?
T-62.
Where's Enkel Mansur? Oh no, I don't remember which VTR I played it of it. Come on, man. Where's the tank crew? In here, yes. I remember now. Let's plant right next to it. Yeah, that's salvageable. Just gotta wait for the fire to die down.
I'm surprised it doesn't do what most of them do, pop its turret and make the lollipop of death.
Wait, what is the lollipop of death?
It's like, for some reason, I think it's the way that they store the ammo under the turret. Like, when it cooks off, it just pops the lid, and sometimes it will stick straight down. Like, the gun barrel will be right in the ground. You know, like a giant sucker.
Ah, I see. Why
I
are
don't
your
know
tanks
which
manned by high school girls? Oh no, this is not Girls in Panzer.
Heroes and Panzer Syria edition.
Yeah, easy to confuse.
Yeah, it's that weird manga that one dude made where it made it more realistic. It's like, what? But even then, if you think about it, if that sport really existed, even shooting like flower rounds would be kind of dangerous.
Yeah, it is. It's like that thing where it's something that makes so much sense as like a mechanized sport because you just think on paper like that'd be so cool, but then it's like, no, people would die all the time. Even the show kind of shows it where they say, oh, it's a perfectly safe sport, but anytime they drive into water, there's like a constant risk of drowning. Like an entire crew of these poor
Yeah,
girls
trust
would be
me,
lost.
You're still operating like a multi-ton tracked vehicle. Like, it's not like, you know, made out of Nerf foam. Fall out of it, hits you, runs over your foot even. It's just like, you're done.
There's like always a constant stream of enemies coming in. And I'm not sure if they're endlessly respawning and it's telling me to get a move on or if it's just needless charges. Screaming and the firing stopped. That must mean it's time to move up. Al Nursa. Oh, wasn't Al Nursa actually one of the ISIS sects? Like, this is a real organization.
Yeah, I don't know if they were a part of ISIS, but they were one of the more fundamentalist groups that were part of the rebels.
Mm. The ISIS Al-Qaeda, like, fighting was so surreal for a lot of Westerners to behold, I remember.
I think that's why some in the West kind of had a hard time fully supporting the rebels because they had some unsavory groups.
It makes perfect sense, yeah. It's a valid concern, especially it's just would be a repeat of the Taliban in a lot of people's head.
Because, you know, for all of Assad's faults, he was a secular dictator. He wasn't, you know, going after people for their religious views. He was going after them if they were anti-government or not. That could be open to loose interpretation, and often was. But I know that a lot of independent Christian militia sprung up in support of the Assad regime, because at the very least he didn't care if they were Christian. He would supported their ability to worship as they saw fit.
Yeah.
Which in the Middle East is pretty rare. That's also why I kind of like the Jordanians and the Hashemite Kingdom, because they're pretty chill too.
I met a man from Jordan. Yeah, he was like extremely chill. I believe he was actually a Christian too, as well. Fascinating
Like,
little country.
King Abdullah II's a G. He was like in Star Trek. He's a fighter pilot. When ISIS captured that Jordanian and like burned him alive in a cage, he personally led the airstrike on their target.
Really? That is cool.
Yeah.
That
You
is-
see him. He's like in a flight suit.
That
It's
is like the
holy
stuff
crap.
of legend. I'm surprised I have not heard like a peep about anything like that. That is crazy.
That's why what happened with Prince Harry hurt so bad, because he was an actual prince riding in the battle like days of yore.
Mm.
The king was doing the same. Like when royals, you know, who can live a life of luxury, suit up and go for it, you just kind of got to feel like you don't have to do this, but you're doing it. And that makes it special.
It puts a lot of pressure on them too, because then you think of someone like not exactly a monarch, but I believe one of Stalin's sons became like a fighter pilot during World War II, and he was seen as like such a liability by like the crew around him, because they had
One
to
of his
spend time
sons-
protecting him or something.
One of his sons is captured, and the Russians wanted to exchange him for some other people, and Stalin's like, I don't know a son by that name.
Yeah.
Crushed him, and then he like shot himself but didn't kill himself, and Stalin was like, yeah, so you can't even shoot straight.
Yeah, it was
Father,
man. Stalin really is just a buck broken man, for lack of a better. Because you like, I'm sure you've read about his first love, like his first wife, even. Just how much like her death broke him inside, and how he said it broke him.
I like how the only person that he was scared of his whole life was his mother.
Yeah, that too.
And like, when he took power and called her, he was like, well, you remember the Tsar? I'm kind of like the Tsar. And she said, you've done better being a priest.
Yes, yeah.
And he was on his way to seminary school.
If I remember, he was exposed to communist students or something. Yeah, while he was in seminary school, and that's what. I mean, he literally became an outlaw criminal, the robbing banks and stuff like that after.
Father Yosef Dugashvili. Yeah, that was his real last name. Dugashvili.
Much like Funny Mustache Man, it's surreal how much they share kind of the same background. They had this very abusive father growing up that hardened them both very much.
And Funny Mustache Man was a mama's boy, and his mother's death broke him hard too.
Mm. Let's see. All right. I think we'll call it here from now. We've shown off the game enough.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about picking it up next paycheck. Looks good.
If you do, let me know how. You'll have to give me some tips for sure. You'll get like way ahead of it than me. Someone said, "Let's go." I made it. Well, I'm so sorry that it's ending right now. All right. I thank everyone for tuning in. Let's see you all later next time. Probably as usual next weekend. I'm glad to be able to tune in for. A lot of people can't make my Fridays now that I stream around noontime EST, so we'll see about Sundays, but no pinky promises for that. All right, peace out, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.